Greg Boutin from Velocia. Velocia is an open network for mobility using loyalty and user acquisition rewards to incentivize specific mobility choices and data sharing. Velocia introduces user-owned smart mobility channels along with smart mobility bounties, automated rewards that can be set up by any participant. So big round of applause for Greg.
Come on, guys, you can do better. Come on. All right. Thank you. Great. Okay. Hi, everyone. So it doesn't sound like it if you try to listen to my accent, but we're actually from Toronto. If this works, yeah. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about us first. So we're a Toronto-based company. A group is called BlankLink. It's got 3 companies. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because it's quite relevant to what we're doing. There's a company that's called Nexo that's active in several Latin American countries. It just got selected in Mexico by all the taxi companies to digitize the taxi experience in all of Mexico. We also I forgot, it just closed the round at a 40 million valuation as well. We have another company called Blank Labs that develops projects, both mobile applications and projects on the blockchain. And we are very close to some guys called Aeon in Toronto, if you've heard of them. They're one of the cryptocurrencies that have come out of Canada. So the reason I'm mentioning all this is because when you put the 2 together, you get a little baby called Velocia, which combines our mobility experience and our blockchain expertise. And so what we do with Velocia is that we address some of the obstacles that we've faced in the mobility market. And by the way, when I say mobility, I mean transportation services. A lot of people think like mobile phones. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about transportation services. So I'm going to tell you a little more about Velocia today. But really, to understand what we're doing, it's important to kind of look at what I call the personal transportation market and see how it's evolved. Long time ago, you had taxi companies, OEMs, and just general transit companies. It was very asset-based, not very digitized. Those guys are struggling to adapt to the new world. Of course, you might have heard of something called Uber. Uber changed kind of the way that transportation works, especially for millennials. For everybody, but really millennials have really embraced it in a big way. And so we've shifted from an asset-driven model to a data-driven model. And the problem that remains is that it's still very siloed. Like you download Uber, but if you want to bike share or scooter share or use TTC, you need a different app. So in spite of that move to a data-driven model, it's remained centralized. In fact, Uber has become the largest taxi company in the world. What we envision is there's something called integrated mobility that needs to happen for the user experience to improve. And that's something that would tie all your personal transportation services into one app, or at least one protocol. And that would basically cut across and allow you to have one identity, or like your favorite methods of payments all in one place, and use any service that you like. That would make it possible to create kind of like the Expedia of personal transportation. Like something that can assemble a ride from end to end with different modes of transport. A lot of people are interested in that because they feel that they're excluded from the market. Currently, of course, Uber, Lyft, Google, they're all creating ecosystems in transportation. So they're doing in transportation the same thing that happened in mobile phones, like with Android platform and iPhone platforms. It's the same thing. So transportation is moving to an ecosystem move. Google has Waze and Waymos. Uber just rebranded itself as a transportation hub. It's announced a large investment in Toronto a couple of weeks ago. And it's also announced that it was going to go into train and bus and all these things. The problem with that is they control your data. And every partner will have to go through Uber. That's not a very scalable model. You have to talk to them, set a partnership. We want to create an open platform. So what we're starting with is loyalty, because that's what we can easily power with blockchain today. And we're basically creating this loyalty program that any company in the space can join, go online, sign up for. They don't need to talk to me or anybody in the company. I have 1 minute left, so apparently I'm going a bit slowly. Sorry. So long story short, I'll show you a few screenshots just to kind of give you a sense of the product. We'll have a hub, so we have a prototype already, and APIs that can be integrated on existing applications. You can sign up for rewards and bounties. Any sponsor, again, can go to that platform and set up a reward. We call it Smart Mobility Bounty. You can manage your campaign just like you would manage a Google Ad campaign, except that here it's loyalty. And as a user, you own your data. And that's the really important part, is that once you own your data, then initially we start with loyalty, but over time we can connect you with drivers directly, or they can offer you services directly without having to go through an intermediary like Uber. You have a single profile, single reputation. That's also important for drivers. They can't have different reputations on different systems. And ultimately, we're really creating the foundation for a much deeper transportation experience. Something that will cut across all the silos, that will let you ride from A to B to Z with one app, one platform, and with all the players working together, the payments being integrated, the experience being integrated, and higher satisfaction, ultimately, which is what we strive for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.